Hello, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about Act Second of our play Nagmandala by Girish Karnad. As you know, we have talked about the contents of prologue and Act 1. Act first. At the end of Act first, we see Naga Appanna drinking or eating the potion given by Kurudava and getting attracted towards Rani. Now, when the Act Second opens, we see on the cot or in the dark of the night, Rani sleeping on the bed and Appanna watching her from the distance as it happened at the end of Act 1. जसं पहिल्या ॲक्टच्या शेवटी राणी झोपलेली होती आणि तिच्या शेजारी नाग अप्पन्ना हा तिच्याकडे पाहत बसलेला होता. Now he moves near to her and he caresses her and then she gets up. Now whenever Rani finds him at home, her reaction was to serve him food. So immediately she asks him, "Shall I serve food?" But Nagappanna laughs that it was midnight and that was not right time to eat. But Rani's dialogue with Nagappanna was limited to serving only food. And that thing, it was happening there, so she asked. But Nagappanna asks her to sit there. He moves away from her at a distance. And from the edge of the bed, he talks her. He says that you are very beautiful. Rani was surprised because till date he had never noticed her beauty or mentioned it to her. Even Nagappanna calls her to be a poor thing. Means he says that you are such a beautiful girl and you should get such a rotten husband like me, such a bad husband like me. It's not a good thing. But she protests that I have not said anything to you. So then Nagappanna says that I didn't say anything. You didn't say anything. But I'm just thinking. Then he recalls that early in the morning you got beating and does it pain now? And then he talks that you are living locked up in this house. You must be missing your parents. Means you must be reminded of your parents by the sad situation in which you are. जी वाईट दुःखी परिस्थिती जी आहे त्यामुळे तुला तुझ्या आईवडिलांची आठवण होत असेल. Now Nagappanna promises her that I will arrange that you meet your parents. And when she promises, she becomes cheerful and happy. But now this dog keeps on barking, which Appanna had brought. A human Appanna had brought and that dog was barking, and Rani was unable to sleep all the night. Nagapanna says now that from tomorrow this dog will not trouble you. Now he says, from tomorrow he wants her to be fresh and bright when he comes at night. But Rani was surprised that till date he had spent his night with a mistress. He comes only in the morning to have his bath and then meals, and then he returns back to her home. Yes, then she says that I don't think so, but he promises that I shall come every night now on. May I? He seeks her permission that can I come? And who will deny such a happy, which wife will deny such a happy thing? So she says. Now Rani sleepily blushes. Nagapanna comes close to her and he tries to move away. When she tries to move away, he quickly grabs her and makes love to her. Now she puts her head on his shoulder and he gently puts her hand around her. And there he describes her. He describes that her long hair. What beautiful long hair, like dark black snake princess. नागिनी सारखे किती सुंदर केस आहेत तुझे, लांब लसक काळ्या नागिनी सारखे तुझे केस आहेत. After making love to her, Nag goes through the way he had come. He had come through the bathroom, and through the bathroom he disappears. In the morning, Rani is surprised. Her husband was not by her side. She comes to the front door, she pushes the door, and the door is still locked. She is confused. She thinks that she might be dreaming. Now dog starts barking when Appanna arrives. Now in the afternoon, when Appanna arrives, dog starts barking. He unlocks the door and he comes inside. When Rani was about to ask him, when did you go away? But Appanna, human Appanna, was not in the mood to listen her. He scowls, and his scowl leaves the sentence in Rani's mouth incomplete. She freezes because she was scared. Now she tastes, then he goes to bathroom and she goes to kitchen and prepares food for him. Then she thinks that I must have been dreaming again. She thinks that had he come in the night, he would have definitely changed. He would have been definitely at least tolerable or loving to her. But that was not the case. It means that she must have been dreaming again. Now, Appanna baths and as usually he leaves. When it becomes dark, Rani lies in bed wide awake. Means the regular time comes, and from anthill, Nag Appanna enters through the bathroom. Dog starts barking and growling. Now, during this time, he enters and he finds that she is not unable to sleep. So he goes back and he kills the dog. The fighting of dog and the snake, the hisses are heard. When the dog is dead, it ends with the dying noise of dog, and everything goes silent. Now Nag Appanna comes through the bathroom. He washes his face and enters through the drain and becomes Nag Appanna again. Now, when she hears his steps on the stairs, she covers her head with bed sheet. And Naga comes and sees her, smiles and sits on the bed. Now, Naga tries to talk to her. Naga Appanna tries to talk to her. Rani bites her paper, pinches her, bites her forefinger, and tries to identify that whatever happening to her is true. She I must be going mad. She continues talking to herself. Now she says that it must be, I must be mad because it is impossible. His visit last night, I assumed I must have dreamed that. I'm certainly not dreaming now because she bite her finger, which means I am going mad. It means that I am just imagining. I have passed the dreaming. I'm imagining spending whole day by myself, and that whole thing comes as an experience and it begins to act in front of you. But Nag Appanna pacifies her and tells her that it was not dream, it is not her imagination only, but he is sitting right in front of her. He says that touch me, come on, talk to me. Not all right, otherwise then I had better go. But Rani did not want to send her husband, loving husband, back. So when he expresses his desire, then she says that you should talk so nicely at the night, but during the day I only have to open my mouth and you hiss like stupid snake. This makes Naga Appanna laugh. Now she feels like crying towards the Appanna's ill treats her, as Appanna ill treated her during the daytime, and this duality of his behavior was not liked by her. So he says that if you don't like me, then I should stop coming at the night. But Rani's eyes are filled with tears and she says that why do you tease me like this? I am sick of being alone. Why do you trouble me like this? Why do you make me sad? I am already sad because I am alone. And then tonight I was terrified. You might not come. That what I remember from last night must have been dream. I was desperate that you should come again tonight. But what am I to say if you spin riddles like this? अशी जर कोडी तू माझ्या समोर टाकत असतील तर मी काय करायचं? Then what happens? Nag Appanna takes her into his arms, and then Rani senses that he has certain wounds, because in that fight, he had tooth marks on his face. So Rani rushes into, Rani asks, what has happened? Who has hurt you? Did you rush into the bush, or did you have some fight, or did you get hurt from the fence wire, barbed wire? But he says that not to worry. Then Rani goes to bring her box given by her mother, in which there was ointment and there was mirror. She brings that ointment and she tries to apply ointment to him. When she looks in the mirror, so in mirror there was no reflection of Nag Appanna. But there was no reflection of Appanna, but there was reflection of Nag. The hood of Nag was seen, and she gestures that I saw in this mirror at the place where you are sitting. There is no Appanna, but I saw mirror. Now, when she talks with him like that, he just senses that this would go wrong. So he puts aside the mirror and tries to divert her attention from that mirror, and he takes her into the fold of her hand, and somehow he just takes away her attention from the incident, from the topic which she was talking. So she says, when I looked in the mirror, I saw there where you were sitting, instead of you, I saw a sitting there, she mimes with her hand the cobra, hood of the cobra. Naga Appanna says, what, a cobra? Yeah, don't mention it. They say that if you mention it by name at night, it comes into the house. All right, suppose a cobra comes into this house. Don't say, why are you tempting fate by calling that unmentionable thing by name? Why shouldn't it come with love? May God bless our house, and spare us that calamity. The very thought makes me shudder. Then he says that I am here right now and there is no need to scare, no need to get scared. And he comforts her. He says that, let it be. I don't feel afraid of anymore. She says that, means when she comforts, she says that I don't feel afraid anymore with you beside me. Means when you are beside me, I'm not afraid. Father says the cobra simply looks the bird's eye and its own side, with bird's eye with its own side. And the bird stares, unable to move his eyes. It doesn't feel any fear either. It stands fascinated, watching changing colors in the eyes of the cobra. Means cobra looks in the eyes of his prey, and that prey is fascinated by the sight of his eye. So, and this cobra's eyes change colors. All this description which is told by her father is described, and Naga is hypnotized. Naga Appanna is hypnotized by by her. He kisses and they make love, and then flames surround them and sings the song of the flames. Now what happens, you see? And those flames sings that, come let us dance. Ata आपण नाचूया. Through the weaver bird's nest. आपण weaver bird न जे नेस्ट घरटं केलेलं आहे त्या घरट्या आजूबाजूला आपण नाचूया. And light the hanging lamps. आणि आपण असे हवेत तरंगणारे दिवे पेटवूया. Of glowworms. जसे काय असतात ते ग्लोवर्म्स, म्हणजे रातकिडे, रातराणी जशी प्रकाश देते तसे आपण हे प्रकाश देऊया. थ्रू द कॅवर्न्स इन द अँट हिल, त्या अँट हिलच्या सगळ्या कोपऱ्यातून हे अँड सेट द डायमंड इन द कोब्रा क्राऊन अब्लेज, आणि कोब्राच्या डोक्यावरचा जो मोती आहे तो मोती आपण चकाकायला लावूया. थ्रू द ब्लाइंड वुमन्स ड्रीम, थ्रू द डीप म्यूट सॉन्ग, कम लेट अस फ्लो डाऊन द ट्रेसेस ऑफ टाइम, ऑल लाईट अँड सॉन्ग. आणि मग या म्हातारीच्या, त्या आंधळ्या म्हातारीच्या स्वप्नातून हे जे बंद झालेलं गाणं आहे ते गाणं आपण सुरू करूया, की जे गाणं वेळेबरोबर जात जाईल. नाव when they make love, both of them get up and Rani is surprised because Rani understood now, though she was happy. Apparently she shows, असं सकृत दर्शनी ती दाखवते की I am not happy, and she says that I didn't know you were such a bad man. एवढा वाईट माणूस होता असे मला माहित नाही. I should have known the moment you started using honeyed words, ज्यावेळी गोड गोड शब्द बोलायला लागलास त्याचवेळी माझ्या लक्षात आलं पाहिजे. Had I known, I would never have agreed to marry you. असं जर असतं तर मी तुझ्याशी कधीच लग्न केलं नसतं. Good, our daughter means, and if you tell your mother, I will tell your mother and father or parents, then he says that they will say, जर तू त्यांना सांगितलं तर ते म्हणते, good, our daughter is falling nicely in our footsteps. Now this kind of thinking, this kind of treatment which is given to Rani by Appanna surprises her. Now how eloquent he becomes when he is making love, when he comes in the night, and means this all pervading nature, means nature, the desire for making love makes all creatures, males of all means animals, feel happy, feel, and they are so good. What she says, goodness, goats have to be sacrificed and buffalo slaughtered to get a word out of you in the morning. कोंबड्या आणि बकरी सॅक्रिफाईस करायला पाहिजेत तुझ्या दिवसा तू आल्यावर तुझ्या तोंडून एखादा शब्द येण्यासाठी. बट ॲट नाईट, रात्र झाली की हाऊ यू टॉक, स्नेक्स अँड लिझार्ड्स मे डू व्हॉट एव्हर दे लाईक. बाकीचे काय का करेनात, बट ह्युमन बिईंग शुड हॅव सम सेन्स ऑफ शेम. पण माणसाला जरा लाज असायला पाहिजे, बिकॉज यू आर ह्युमन बिईंग्स. नाव इट वॉज मॉर्निंग अँड ही सेज that now I will leave. Now he says, I will come at night. But she says, only at night? Not for lunch? Then Naga replies cautiously, काळजीनं तो सांगतो, listen Rani, I shall come home every day twice. रोज मी दोनदा येईन. At night and of course again at midday. At night, wait for me in this room. When I come and go at night, don't go out of this room. या खोलीतून बाहेर जाऊ नकोस. Don't look out of the window. खिडकीतून बघू नकोस. Whatever the reason, काय का कारण असे ना. And don't ask me why. Rani promises, and she runs to him and embraces him. Now, when all this was happening, Kurudava happened to come outside of her house to check on Rani whether she was enjoying fruits of her roots. तिनं जी मुळी दिलेली होती त्या मुळीचे जे परिणाम आहेत ते परिणाम त्या ह्याच्यावर झालेत का हे ती बघण्यासाठी तिथं गेलेली असते. As usual, Kappanna just brings her there, and he just warns her that don't meddle with Rani's affairs, because her husband is not good. Her husband is not good. He's a bad person. But still, Kurudava had come to find out whether the something has happened to her. Meanwhile, they find the dog dead, and she feels that she stumbles against the dead dog, and she feels that something funny is happening here. She thinks that Rani has killed the dog. Now, when this all was happening, Naga Appanna had slithered through the bathroom and had come outside. So when Kappanna looks inside, what is that? Because they checked, the door was locked. So Kappanna looked from the through the window, and he found that cobra was slithering through the bathroom, and he was coming out. So he shouts, "Snake, snake, a cobra!" And then he rushes to the front door, picks up his mother and starts running. But as that snake was not following them, Kurudava asks her to let her down. Now whatever was happening outside was heard inside by Rani. The commotion, Gondhar, which was taking place outside, she heard, and she came to the front door. And through the window, she finds that Kurudava was there. She won't come any closer, as Kappanna has seen a snake coming out of Rani's bathroom drain. Rani rushes inside, calling for her husband. But she remembers that Appanna is not there. She has just left a few minutes ago. But Kurudava says that she has not seen him going out, because they have been there for last half an hour. And you say that he has left just now. अर्धा तास आम्ही इथं वाट बघतोय आणि तू तर म्हणतेस की तू आत्ताच गेलेला. अर्धा तास आम्ही इथं वाट बघतोय आणि तू तर म्हणतेस की थोड्या वेळापूर्वी तो निघून गेला. And this is not true. Then Rani says that they must be missing something, because she herself saw that he went. Now Kurudava asks whether she has started a married life. Now blushingly Rani replies in yes, I am living now, we are living now husband and wife life. She looks like tired. Kurudava is happy because her love potion has worked. So you see the power of my roots. Didn't I tell you, your husband will cling to you once he tastes this? Rani did know the truth, that she had not eaten that, she had not fed that root to her husband, but she poured it in the... And then she cautions her. When Kurudava was happy, she lives with her son, but while going she says that burn incense in the ladle and stick it into the drain, keep the reptiles out. Because once... But Kappanna says that there might not be anything. This excuse by Rani is nothing but a excuse of newly married, newlywed people. And you know what kind of people they are. Now, Kappanna and Kurudava is outside the home. As he leaves carrying Kurudava on his shoulder, Kappanna suddenly stiffens and he stands there. He stands still in such a position that he is watching at something, and he says that he saw a village girl. He saw a village girl or some ghost. But Kurudava says, don't act like a mad person. She is not a village girl. Which village girl will dare to step out at this hour? एवढ्याच रात्री कोण येईल बाळ? वेड्यासारखं काय करतोयस? And I'm not making up stories. आणि मी काही गोष्टी सांगत नाही. That day she floated out from the haunted well. Now, but means when she says that it might be a village girl, then Kappanna, the black person, explains that the village girl, she is not a village girl. She must be ghost, because no village girl would come at this hour of the day, and that is completely impossible. And she says that even in cemetery I saw her. At the place where people are burned, I saw her. And this is very strange thing. Kurudava and Kappanna exit, and Appanna, the human, comes. He comes home at the midday as usual, and he is shocked to see that his dog which he had brought for 50 rupees was lying dead. Appanna tells her to Rani that the dog has been bitten by a cobra in the ant hill. Now that dog was brave. He had faced cheetah and escaped his fate. And he asked whether she heard anything unusual. Now he goes to find untouchable to bury his dog. Now Rani is nonplussed. Now she recalls that last night he had marks of blood on his shoulder and on his cheeks, but now there are no marks of any kind. She goes to the kitchen thinking. Appanna baths, he comes, she is served and goes out. Now, once Appanna human goes out, the story, the woman who had come clad in the sari of song, ज्या गोष्टीनं गाणं नावाची साडीचा पेहराव करून तिथं आली होती, ती तिथं येते. Nag, and now she says, dog's death made Appanna angry. So the next day he brought a mungus. Now this mungus died next day, fighting with King Cobra, when King Cobra had come to visit Rani. But evidently, from the circumstances, from the wounds which were received by Nag Appanna, it could be said that the fight was fiercer. The mungus mouth was full of blood, and there were bits of snake skin found in its teeth. And when she saw the dead mungus, Rani fainted. That day, Naga didn't come that night. Even he did not turn up next 15 days. Now Rani was sad and unhappy. She spent her nights crying, wailing and panting for him. After a few days, he started visiting again. But now this time his body was covered with the wounds and partly healed. Rani was very worried about his health, so she applied ointment to wounds and looked after him. Then she tried to ask where did he get those wounds. But she thought she was not answered. She was not explained what happened. But she was happy that at least it was enough that he has returned. Needless to say, when husband came during the day, there were no scars on him. आणि मग तिला हे सांगायची गरज नाही की ज्यावेळी तिचा अपन्ना ह्युमन अपन्ना आला त्यावेळी कोणत्याही प्रकारचे वुंड्स, कोणत्याही प्रकारच्या जखमा त्याच्यावर नव्हत्या. As it gets dark on the stage, Rani suddenly lights up the lamps in the house, and some of the flames gets into position. She realized now that she realized by now that it was not her legally wedded husband Appanna. Means there were, by the time when she reached there, she knew that it was not her wedded Appanna, but there were no confirmations. And so she was always testing that she is seeing some night dreams. But today she was convinced that as she was pregnant, it was not her dream, but it was reality. How it feels means now she was now as they embrace, means when Naga Appanna comes, she says that I'm not definitely fantasizing, I'm not dreaming, I'm not imagining the thing, because she happily tells him that I am a pregnant, and being pregnant is sign that you are not imaginary being. Then this news was unexpected for Naga Appanna. नाग अपन्नासाठी ही बातमी मात्र devastating असते. So what he does, he was very dumbfounded. He stares at her, and Rani is surprised why he is looking at me in this way. The news of baby should have made him happy. So she says that what am I going to do with you? Laugh, cry, bang my head against the wall? I can never imagine that a husband, after listening such a news, will react in this way. I thought that you would dance with joy after hearing the news, that you would whirl around and fondle me, feel my stomach greatly, gently, and kiss me. All that. She was not sure of this reaction. She was not sure of this reaction, so she kept the news from him secret. I can't make sense. She said that I can't make sense of anything now, just the way you are behaving. Now a third life joins us. Means so far we were two, but now there is a third, a guest has come. And I didn't know if that would be much to you. And I didn't know that this news is nothing to you. But Naga tells her that he is glad. But he advises her to keep this news secret from him. Now she is surprised how she can keep it a secret from him, because she has already told her. She tells that I was worried, I was just scared not to tell you, but now I have told you. So she tells that, yes, I shall, don't ask questions. Means, he says to he tells her that don't ask questions, do as I tell you. No, I won't ask you questions, I shall do. Means, when he says that don't ask questions, don't say anything, then she tells him येस आय शाल. मी काय कुणाला विचारणार नाही. आय विल नॉट आस्क क्वेश्चन्स. मी प्रश्न विचारणार नाही. मी कुणाला सांगणार नाही. आय वोंट आस्क क्वेश्चन्स. आय शॅल डू व्हॉट यू टेल अस. स्कॉल इन द डे, दिवसा रागव, रात्री प्रेम कर. एम्ब्रेस ॲट नाईट. स्कॉल, गेट अँग्री. द फेस इन द मॉर्निंग अनरिलेटेड टू द टच ॲट नाईट. संध्याकाळचा चेहरा सकाळी नसतो. बट डे ऑर नाईट वन मोटो डझंट चेंज. एक गोष्ट बदलत नाही. डोंट आस्क क्वेश्चन, डू ॲज आय टेल यू. नाउ राणी does not want that. Rani just wants to rebel against it. There is a streak of rebellion as Rani speaks to Naga, mistaking him for Appanna, human. जे तो ह्युमन मानवी अपन्ना आहे असं समजून ती त्याच्या विरोधात बंड करते आणि ती म्हणते की आय वॉज स्टुपिड, इग्नोरंट गर्ल वेन यू ब्रॉट मी हिअर. ज्यावेळी मला इथं आणलीस त्यावेळी मी बारकी लहान मुलगी होते. बट नाव आय एम अ वुमन, अ वाईफ अँड गोइंग टू बी अ मदर. बायको आहे आणि आता आई होणार आहे. आय एम नॉट ए पॅरट. मी काय पोपट नाही. नॉट ए कॅट ऑर अ स्पॅरो. मांजर किंवा चिमणी नाही. वाय डोंट यू टेक it on trust that I have a mind and explain this charade to me. आणि असं का समजत नाहीस की मला पण डोकं आहे आणि हे सगळं मला एक्सप्लेन करून सांगत नाहीस. वाय डू यू प्ले these गेम्स. हा खेळ तू का खेळतोयस. वाय डू यू चेंज लाईक अ शॅमेलियन. शॅमेलियन सारखं का बदलतोस. डे टू नाईट, फ्रॉम डे टू नाईट. इवन इफ आय अंडरस्टूड अ लिटल, अ टायनी बिट, आय कुड बिअर इट. बट नाव समटाइम्स आय फील माय हेड इज गोइंग टू बस्ट. पण आज मला असं वाटतं की हे माझं डोकं फुटणार आहे. शी आस्क्स हिम whether he wants his child or not, or abortion. Naga stares blankly at her. Now she was pregnant with 5 months. She was too big. Now it couldn't be kept secret. So he says that forgive me. I know it is my fault, but the secret will come out. Then Naga Appanna moves to go, and all of a sudden both of these images combine together, and he comes back and accuses his wife. Both of them freeze. They form one image, and Nag Appanna turns to be human Appanna, and he comes and he accuses his wife that are you not ashamed to admit it. हे तुला admit करताना you harlot, you prostitute, you bad woman. Harlot means bad woman. I locked you in, and yet you managed to find a lover. Tell me, who is it? Who it is? Who did you go to? Who did you go to with your sari up? So he accuses her. But Rani professes that she was innocent. He tells that it was, I didn't go anywhere. And all these things, when Appanna is beating her, Cobra watches through a window, but he is helpless. He cannot do anything. Appanna drags her into the street, kicks up huge stone to hit her on the bloated funny, her swelled tummy. He picks up the stone. Then the cobra appears. And Rani shouts loud, "Oh my God, a snake, a cobra!" Appanna throws the stone, and immediately Rani goes inside the room and locks the door, bangs the door. Now, once Rani is secured, Appanna thinks that he cannot do anything, so he threatens her that he will go to the village panchayat, and there she will be brought. There she will be brought in front of the elders, and those elders will throw her into the boiling oil with her child. Means, why should I take this sin? Instead, legally, they will go there. You come there. Now, Naga comes at that night, sits close to her, and she tells him. Now that there is a conversation, in that conversation, Rani asks him, "Why are you humiliating me like this? Why are you stripping me naked in front of the whole village? Why don't you kill me instead? असं का करायला लागलेस? असं का मला तू नग्न करतोस सगळ्यांच्या समोर? त्याच्यापेक्षा तू मला मारून का टाकत नाहीस? I would have killed myself, but there is not even a rope in this house for me to use." मी स्वतःला मारलं असतं, पण इथं एखादा, पण नागा सेज, राणी, the village elders will sit in judgment. You will be summoned. That cannot be avoided. Rani says that can be. Look at the way you talk, as if you are referring to someone else. After all, it is you who have complained against me to the elders. Now you go there and withdraw your complaint. Say my wife isn't a whore, is not a bad woman. Tell them. Naga, however, is unable to tell her the truth. But he advises her that tomorrow take cobra, what you say, that when you face the elders, tell them cobra ordeal. तू परीक्षा देत असताना cobra ordeal दे. So what is this cobra ordeal? So that in the anthill in front of your home there is a cobra. You swear by the cobra and tell them that you are innocent by holding in hand the cobra, king cobra. And he tells that this cobra will not bite you if only you have to tell the truth. Then Rani asks him, "Shall I say that my husband forgets what happened in the night in the next day? Shall I say that my husband brought a dog to kill dog and mungus to kill cobra?" Suddenly she realizes that something is missing. But Naga Appanna assures her that from tomorrow your husband will become slave to you. You say you will become my slave tomorrow. Okay. That we will be together again. Then why you are behaving like this? The night is over, so he must go. Now he says that it is night and I must go and I must move away from her. Then she says that it is not a morning. This is not a morning like any other morning. Tomorrow won't be a day like any other day. I don't want any tomorrow or days after. I want this night to last forever. मला काय उद्या काय असेल काय माहित नाही. मला हीच रात्र चिरंतन टिकावी असं वाटतंय. Remain unchanged. I mustn't let you go. I must listen to my heart and hold you back. Take you like a baby in my arms and keep you safe. As she is talking, Naga moves down the steps, turns into snake and goes away. Rani turns to him and she finds that her husband has gone. And she finds that the door is locked. And then she shouts, "Where are you? Where are you?" This time a kind of revelation, kind of understanding is born on the mind of Rani that she is not dealing with human being but something extraordinary. Now the day appears when there is the ordeal in the village square now. On the Appanna's complaint, the village elders had come near the ant hill, and as there was a news, the news was spread that this woman is taking the ordeal by cobra, and this was sensational news. This was sensational news. All the people had gathered there from the vicinity. There was a ordeal for wife's chastity. The tradition of public checking wife's chastity either by touching by catching in hand hot rod, or sometimes dipping hand in boiling oil. But this Rani had told the people that she will take King Cobra, oath by King Cobra. And these people, the Panch or village elders, judges, were not happy with Rani. They were advising her not to do it, because they knew that if something happens, she will die as well as her child would die. But she insists. They say that take it by red hot iron, but she insists that I will swear by King Cobra, because this advice was given by Naga Appanna. Now Naga Appanna, though she was suspicious, was her husband. But when she goes to take oath to the anthill, she gets scared. And she pleads that I am scared. If the cobra bites me, what shall I do? I am afraid. She runs to Appannath seeking his help, but he calls her a whore and pushes her away. Seeing her conditions, elders advise her once again. Why do you do this? Instead, take oath by hot iron, and she now changes. Means when she goes to her husband says that they say either you plead guilty or take the oath. But Rani says that why should I plead guilty? Because I am not the person who has committed any wrong. Meanwhile, we see Kurudava entry, or Kurudava enters, and Kurudava is in search of her son, and she has gone mad, a mad and a blind woman. She tells that Kapanna disappeared somewhere, and she goes in search of Kapanna. Then Rani seeks Kapanna's help. I am innocent, I haven't done anything, what shall I do? Now, Kurudava is sad and she is asking for Kapanna. Where is my son? Then Rani thinks that if this is the life, if my life is to become miserable like that Kurudava, why should I not take oath by cobra? What difference does it make? Whether I should live living death or I die, whether I should live living death or I should die by cobra, what difference does it make? So instead of taking the ordeal of catching in hand hot iron, she thinks of picking up cobra by the anthill, and she goes near the anthill where cobra was already there because he had hissed, he had come out. She picks the cobra and she swears that I have in my life have touched but two, or have caught in this hand but two. Then when she says two, Appanna is happy and he says, look. And then she explains that one, my husband Appanna, and this king cobra. And that, surprisingly, the cobra making just from her shoulder slithers down into the anthill, and this clears allegation or charge of crime, inchastity against Rani, and now everybody bends in front of her because this was surprise. King Cobra means, she took it in her hand, and all these people means, it behaved like a puppet, and it went away. Even all village elders, they say they hail her as goddesses. She is called a divine being, and everybody falls at her feet. Even Appanna watches all this. The palki is brought, and in palki with Appanna, both of them are taken to the home. Now, village elders enjoin on her the divinity. They ask Appanna to spend all his life in her service. They call Rani mother and beseech her to bless them and their children, and the crowd disperses. On reaching home, Appanna opens the lock of the front door and throws it away. The concubine, and he falls at her feet and begs her forgiveness. Forgive me, I am a sinner, I was blind. But Rani quietens him and comforts him. She gently takes him in her arms, and they exchange sweet nothings, which are drowned in the music that plays in the background. Now, the story comes on the stage, and she explains the end. Story comes where Appanna and Rani are sitting on the bed in background, and to forefront the story tells, so Rani got everything she wished for: a devoted husband, a happy life. She even got a long life servant in the form of the concubine who was at the trial. When she saw Rani's glory, she felt ashamed of her sinful life and volunteered to do menial work in Rani's house. In due course, Rani gave birth to a beautiful child, and they lived ever happily. Now, when she spoke out this last sentence, this ending, ज्यावेळी तिनं हे एव्हर हॅपी एंडिंगचं सेंटेन्स ज्यावेळी स्टेजवर म्हटली, त्यावेळी सगळ्या फ्लेम्स एकत्र आल्याने त्या कावऱ्या बावऱ्या होऊन काही प्रश्न विचारू लागले. They made various comments, and they were preparing to just to leave the temple. Then this man who was sad to listen the story, or who was not happy to listen the ending, he says that according to him, no one will accept this ending. This Rani's story. In this story, there are some threads. What is about Kappanna and Kurudava? What happened to them? But story tells that that is not my story. The story of Kurudava and Kappanna is not my story. To get this story told, you can go to anywhere or you can fill yourself the details. I have only Rani's story. But then the man, the writer, raises two questions. What is about the Naga Appanna's predicament? Because you see, all happiness, all pleasure which is given to her is given by Nagappanna. And now Rani lives happily with human Appanna. Isn't it enough to raise jealousy, hate in the mind of Nagappanna? And second thing, whatever happens, the man Appanna knew that he did not sleep with his wife. He did not make any love. Then how can that all go against the human experience? So there is something which is not complete in the story. And then what is the curiosity of Rani? No two men make love alike. Okay, when this man Appanna will come and make love with Rani, in her mind there would be the hooded snake, that conundrum, that confusion. How she will react to her. So there are these three aspects which has to be considered while giving appropriate ending to the story. You have to give appropriate ending, otherwise it is useless. So man says that Rani's story is not yet over. So there are certain objections. So that they lived happily ever after, this ending will not do. So now what will be the end? Now the story tries another one story. So now what happens? The scene is taken there. After the marriage, after some time, once they have got the child, the cobra is sitting in his anthill. He thinks that he wants to have a look at her. Now so many days have passed and he is enamored by her. Now he takes human form and enters Rani's house. He watches that her husband and Rani are sleeping on the bed. And he says that she is happy. But the cause of her happiness is nothing but himself. And he finds it hard to believe that he was at one time in so much love with Rani. So he gets into Rani's bedroom where she is sleeping with her husband. Her head is on her shoulders, his shoulders. Her long luxuriant hair hanging down from the edge of the cot. Child is sleeping by her side. Now this is the time when he usually used to come. So he says that last time I will take form of a naga. So he becomes a tiny naga of the hair size, and he enters in the hairs of naga. Now this queen Rani, she wakes up in the night and she feels that her tresses are heavy. She tries to comb it. She asks her husband to help her in combing, and what they find, that Naga Nag falls down, Nagapanna falls down dead. Then Rani realizes that this Nag is nobody but that Nag, Nagapanna. So she says that this Nag has given us a new life, so it should be duly cremated, and our son should burn the funeral, fire the funeral, and he should remember him every year. So Nagapanna says that this is the honor which is given to one's father, but he cannot say no to him, and they disappear. Now this another one ending, it is not also acceptable to the flames. Flames, they say that ending should be happy. And writer says that if it should be happy, but if it is not happy, then what does it, where does it make any difference? But they say that still night is not over. You have to keep awake. So tell us the story, your ending. So the writer tells the story. Naga comes. Nag becomes the tiny snake and enters in the hair of. All of a sudden, Rani feels her head heavy. She takes the comb and they both try to comb the hairs, and that Nag falls on the ground. Rani Apanna is scared. So Apanna wants to kill the Naga. And he goes to bring the lathi or the stick to kill the Naga. Then Rani says that you have come here, it is wrong thing. So she takes him in the hair and lets him stay here, and tells her husband that she tells her husband that he has gone to that side or somewhere else, and that Apanna follows him. In this way, the snake lives in the traces of the her hair. So she says that my head, it hurts, as though someone were pulling out my hair. And then Naga lives with Rani in her hair. So this is the conclusion which is given by the writer. And this way the story ends. Now there is further assessment of the play in the context of critical analysis, but as you have the examination which is in the form of objective examination, knowing the plot would be enough. There are several aspects which could be discussed, but it will pull on this for so many hours. It is possible in the during offline classes. So this is the way that this Nagmandala play's discussion about its plot is over. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.